Today, everybody, we are here to talk about dungeons in Elder Scrolls Online. Now, you might be sitting there thinking that dungeons aren't that big of a deal and aren't worth talking about. But son, let me remind you that dungeons are the backbone of the MMORPG gameplay experience, the bread and butter of that delicious, fantasy D&D experience, delving into caves, collecting some fat booty, and making it out while a dragon breathes fire on your ass. That is what a true adventure is, man. And in Elder Scrolls Online, we get plenty of dungeons to check out and to choose from. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what is awesome in Elder Scrolls Online's dungeon experiences and what is not so awesome. Let's start with the positives first, because nobody likes to feel sad or frustrated at the beginning of a YouTube video. First and foremost, let me just say this about ESO's dungeons. There's a lot of them. Like, god damn, son, there are a lot of dungeons in this game. And when you hit that do a random dungeon button, you're gonna get a sweet and spicy surprise every single time, it feels like. And that leads me to my second pro. The second thing I want to say about dungeons. Not only do you get a lot of them, but there's also a huge amount of dungeon variety in this game. Because you see, all the dungeons are very diverse and unique. One second you're delving into some funky-ass Daedra-looking temple scary place. The next thing you're fighting a rampaging vagina-looking plant monster. You're climbing Imperial Towers, teleporting through portals, exploring a werewolf manor, and a whole lot more. Guys, I've been playing this game for quite a little while now. Not too long, but a little while. And I still haven't done all the dungeons yet. And for someone like me who is big on PvE in their MMOs, that's an extremely good thing. An extremely big pro in my mind. And also, look at this attention to detail, man. This ain't your mama's kind of dungeon with 7 polygons and all that malarkey. This game has like sculptures and textures and all that 3D stuff and mumbo jumbo. The developers really went all out in selling the respective feels of these dungeon adventures. But I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there thinking, Nixxiom, I don't care about no vagina plant monsters and Daedra. What I care about is killing people. Lots of people. Specifically boss kind of people, and taking their loot. You're probably thinking to yourselves, are the bosses challenging, Nixxiom? Do they present a real challenge? Well, my friend, let me say this. When you first start out in ESO and you begin delving into dungeons, they are, of course, not all that complicated. If you have a decent group, you should be just fine. Tanking will be a bit weird if you're only used to the WoW style of tanking. Healing might feel a little bit odd, and you won't really know who or what to DPS as a DPS player, but you'll be alright. Now, I will say that when you hit that random dungeon button, some are going to be more challenging than others, but for the most part, I think you'll be fine. You'll be okay in the beginning. There is a nice balance where the dungeons, they don't feel too easy, but they're not too hard or complicated for a new player. And for starting dungeons, to me, that's a good thing. But then there's veteran dungeons at level 50, where even getting hit once with an ability will most likely kill you. Oh no! Oh no! Pick me up! Cleave! Cleave! Pick me up! Oh my god, I'm dying! Pick me up. Now, like I said before, some dungeons are easier than others, even on veteran difficulty, but veteran dungeons overall can be very punishing if you do not pay attention, especially if you decide to do a challenge mode final boss at the end. That's where you can make the final boss even harder than veteran difficulty for extra rewards. You need to learn how to dodge roll. You need to learn how to parry attacks. You gotta manage your resources well. Bring food, bring potions, bring whatever you need, and you will be fine. Now, most likely, if you're a new player to the game, it's probably a lot of you, you're gonna be in a group with a bunch of veterans who will pick up your slack, but just be prepared to die. A lot. And one of the best parts about doing veteran dungeons in ESO is, well, the fact that they're not the same as normal dungeons. You see, you'll be leveling up, you'll go through Dungeon A, you'll have a good time, you'll hit level 50, then sometime later, you'll hit champion point level 160, and you'll go back to that same dungeon, Dungeon A. and you're going to find something cool about it on veteran difficulty. You're going to discover that it's going to be filled with entirely new bosses to fight, new mechanics to learn, and sometimes there are even new areas that will be available that were not present in the normal version of the dungeon. And how cool is that? It makes the dungeon feel like it isn't recycled content with just a bit more difficulty, and I think that you will enjoy that just as much as I do. And lastly, as a final pro towards the dungeon experience in ESO, remember how I said there were a lot of dungeons in this game? Well, guess what? As you level, you'll do dungeons. Then you'll hit level 50, and you'll think to yourself, aha, I have done every dungeon now. That was a lot of fun. But that is where you're wrong, because you see, as you gain champion points at max level, you will unlock even more dungeons to do. The progression never seems to stop in this game if you're a PvE player, and it's always a pleasure to do a new dungeon and see what kind of sets are hidden within its depths. As you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of dungeons in this game. I'm a big fan of dungeons and MMOs in general, and I think ESO handles them very, very well. But there are some downsides to this game's dungeon experiences, and I want to talk about that. First and foremost, as my first con, there is an LFG tool in this game. Now, as you guys know, I much prefer the method of talking to people, forming groups naturally, traveling to the instance, and so on. I don't like that whole press a button, be put into a group, have fun for 10 minutes, and then go your separate ways. It's kind of like matchmaking in Xbox Live or something. I don't like that. I want to talk to people. It's an MMO, man. I genuinely enjoy that sort of gameplay because it makes the MMO more social. It puts that second M in the MMORPG. But different strokes for different folks, and I understand that. Not saying this is a terrible con, but let's move on to my next thing. And that is, sometimes in this game, it's gonna happen at some point. You're gonna end up in a group that kinda, like, sucks. And when I say suck, I mean like they suck. Like, damn. The thing is, because you can create any kind of character you want, with any kind of skill you want, sometimes you just end up with a big group of DPS players who couldn't tear their way through a paper bag, let alone this boss's HP pool. You might get frustrated, you'll roll your eyes. Just be prepared to encounter people at times with terrible builds that do no damage. Kinda like me for the first few weeks of playing this game. Ooh, it's not really like a con, it's just something to be prepared for, guys. Okay? I've been there, I've done that, and it sucks when it happens. But that's it, really. Delve into your dungeons, find sets of gear, die, get rezzed, kill those bosses, and have a good time. Overall, I have had a great time with ESO's dungeons, and at least in my opinion, the dungeon content in this game is one of the best parts of Elder Scrolls Online. I love the amount of dungeons, I love the diversity in them, the challenge, the replayability, even the fact you unlock more dungeons as you progress in power as a character, even at max level, and that's cool. And despite what small kind of cons that I have, dude, I've been having an awesome time. And that's why ZeniMax should totally send me a shirt. Like seriously, like, dude, ZeniMax, like, send me a shirt, please. Hashtag send Nixxiom a shirt. Listen, I am Jarl and Thoriel. I am freaking the great ancestor of Talos, okay? I am the one who led the mighty Nords to Skyrim and killed those disgusting snow elves and claimed this land for humanity. And I'm lonely and cold over here, so please send me a t-shirt. Thanks! But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Hope you all have been having fun playing ESO if you've recently started, and I will see you guys with my next one. As always, stay cool, stay strong, support the channel on Patreon if you want, or become a community member. Neat. But either way, I will see you all soon. And I also stream Elder Scrolls Online and other games over on twitch.tv/Nixxiom, so come by and say hello one day. Boop!